Morning mist drifted across the royal medicinal garden of Gorion. Lanterns swayed gently in the fading darkness, while silver-root flowers bloomed beneath the first light of dawn. Just a little more. Just one more stem and the king's medicine will finally be complete. A twig snapped behind her. Who gave you permission to enter the restricted garden before sunrise? Yura slowly turned. A tall figure stood in the garden entrance, wrapped in dark royal robes. The silver-root blooms only at dawn, Your Highness. If I waited until sunrise, the medicine would lose its effect. Your name? Yura, daughter of scholar Yi Jungho. The prince stared at her for a long silent moment. Take what you need, but do not wander into places where you do not belong. Frightening man. By morning, the palace court was already drowning in whispers. Your Highness. Rumors continue to spread throughout the northern provinces. The people believe the king is already dead. The court fell silent. The king rests. He is not dead. Anyone spreading such rumors will answer for it personally. And if the king does not appear at the Dragon Festival, then they are welcome to challenge me, in person, inside the physician's chambers. Yura carefully prepared the king's medicine. The prince noticed your presence in the garden this morning. The medicine was more important. The king's illness grows stranger every day. You believe it may be poison? I am only saying. Something unnatural hides inside this palace. That evening, Yura lost her way through the palace corridors and entered the eastern garden. Prince Xianho stood alone beneath the lantern light, practicing swordsmanship with flawless precision. Forgive me, Your Highness. I was searching for the king's chambers. Give me the medicine. I will deliver it myself. You taste the medicine first, don't you? Xianho's movement stopped. Instantly, you're afraid someone is poisoning the king. Choose your next words carefully. Then let me help you. The palace welcomed Lady Myrae with silk banners and golden lanterns. Your Highness, it has been far too long. Lady Myrae, welcome back to the palace. But Myrae's eyes stopped on a single person walking through the corridor behind him. Find out who she is. Under candlelight, the archive room became the center of a dangerous secret. The medicine loses effectiveness every second week. That pattern is impossible naturally. Someone is weakening him intentionally. Nightmare root. It prevents healing while keeping the victim alive. Silence filled the room. Speak of this to no one. Then we solve this together. The next afternoon, Yura collided with a palace guard in the corridor. Careful there. In a single movement, the young general caught every falling scroll. Before they touched the ground, you must be the healer. Making the prince lose composure. He does not lose composure. That's what makes this interesting. The king's condition had grown weaker than ever. You have your father's hands. Your Majesty knew my father. Scholar Yi Jungho served this kingdom faithfully. For the first time, Xianho saw genuine grief inside Yura's eyes. Was it truly a border raid? I've spent 5 years trying to discover the truth. People are beginning to talk about Yi-Ra. She is the king's healer. I only ask not to be forgotten. You were never forgotten. 3 weeks later, the truth finally emerged. I know who poisoned the king. Who? Chancellor Duhayan. My father tried to warn us. Then, we will bring him to justice, together. The Dragon Festival covered the capital in crimson lanterns and FIRELIGHT. Yura moved through the crowd carrying the final evidence. You shouldn't be here. Detaining me changes nothing. Suddenly, a blade appeared at the guard's throat. That would be unwise. You poisoned my father. I preserved stability. And you're his father. He was in the way for the first time in his life. Xianho looked at the man who raised him and saw only a stranger. You will answer for your crimes publicly. The palace felt lighter after Doyan's rest. The king is improving. I feel uncertain. About what? You know the answer. Your father would be proud of you. Thank you, Your Majesty. Across the room, Xianho and Yura shared a quiet understanding. At sunset, the palace rooftops glowed beneath an amber sky. When this season ends, I want to ask you something important. Then I'll still be here. Their hands touched gently beneath the evening sky. 3 months later, peace had finally returned to the kingdom. Stand on this ground with me, for as long as you choose. That was almost romantic. I practiced. And for the first time in many years, the Crimson Throne endured not through fear, but through hope. The wind moved softly through the silver root flowers as dawn painted the palace. Gardens gold. Yura carefully tied fresh herbs together while the distant sound of morning bells echoed across the kingdom. You're away early again. The king has started holding full council meetings. Someone has to make sure he doesn't overwork himself. A faint smile appeared across Xianho's face. The entire court fears him, yet somehow you are the only one who scolds him. Someone should probably scold you too. That sounds exhausting. For a brief moment, both of them laughed quietly together. It was a sound the palace had not heard from its crown prince in many years. Servants passing through the corridors stopped in surprise. Whenever Xianho walked by now, not because he looked frightening, because he no longer looked alone. Inside the royal chambers, the king slowly stood near the balcony overlooking the capital. The city had begun rebuilding after months of fear and uncertainty. Merchants filled the streets once again. Children ran beneath rows of lanterns. Music returned to the marketplace. The kingdom is healing. It is because you survived, Your Majesty. No. The king's eyes moved toward the distant gardens. It survived because people chose loyalty over power. At the same moment, Myray prepared to leave the palace. The royal servants loaded her carriage quietly while rain clouds gathered above the capital. Yuri approached her slowly. Lady Myray. Myray turned, calm and elegant as always. You came to say goodbye. I came to thank you. That surprised Myray more than anger ever could. Thank me? You could have destroyed me long ago. But you didn't. For the first time, Myray's composure weakened slightly. I loved him for many years. Her voice carried no bitterness. But somewhere along the way, I realized he only truly looked alive when he was with you. Rain began falling softly around them. Then, I hope one day you find someone who looks at you the same way. Myray smiled faintly. Perhaps. As her carriage disappeared through the palace gates, another chapter quietly came to an end. That night, Xianho stood alone on the rooftop once again. The sky above Gorion shimmered with thousands of stars. For years, silence had been his only companion here, but soft footsteps approached behind him. You always come here when you're thinking too much. He turned slightly. And you always find me. Yura stepped beside him, resting her hands along the stone railing. The kingdom feels different now. Different can be dangerous. Different can also be beautiful. The wind lifted strands of her hair across her face. Xianho reached forward instinctively, gently brushing them aside. The moment lingered between them. Quietly, you're staring again. I know. Usually people stop after realizing it. I don't seem capable of that round you. Yura laughed softly, beneath her breath. That almost sounded romantic. Almost. You still need practice. Jiho appeared suddenly behind them carrying the cups of tea. Good. You're both here. I was told to make sure neither of you starts another political disaster tonight. Xianho looked genuinely offended. I have never caused a political disaster. Jiho nearly choked laughing. Your Highness, the entire kingdom disagrees. For a few precious moments, they simply stood together beneath the night sky. No schemes. No conspiracies. No fear. Only peace. Winter slowly passed over Gorion. Snow covered the palace rooftops while warm lanterns glowed through the night. And with every passing season, the story of the Crimson Throne spread further across the kingdom. Not as a story about war. Not as a story about power. But as the story of a prince who learned how to trust again, and the healer who taught him how. One snowy evening, Xianho walked once more into the medicinal garden. Yura stood beneath the falling snow, carefully protecting the silverroot flowers from frost. You care for these flowers more carefully than you care for yourself. Someone has to. He stepped closer slowly. Then let someone care for you. Ra looked up at him in surprise. For perhaps the first time since they met, there was no distance left between them. No